today, as you can see by the title of the video, we are joined back, but we're joined for a bit more of a sit down talky video. And there's a lot of people that said that they quite enjoyed these, just like me talking. Obviously not just talking for absolutely hours, but this is going to be me. I'm just going to do my makeup while talking about some subjects and topics along the lines of like mental health. And I feel like after the year everybody's had, it's quite important that, oh god, ignore that. It's quite important that we talk about things. I know there's a lot of people that don't like to talk about things. I know there's a lot of people that don't necessarily want to message their friends and say, look, I'm struggling. This video is here to help anybody that just needs a helping hand. I'm not a therapist by any means, but for quite a long period of time I've dealt a lot with anxiety and depression, things like that, and taught myself, I mean I have had therapy and things like that, but I've taught myself how to be happy in myself, know the difference between good and bad days, just like a whole bunch of things in general that I just feel like I could help somebody else. Do want to give a trigger warning. I am going to talk about obviously like anxiety, depression, things like that. I'm also going to touch base on eating, food habits and things like that, and like my weight journey in a sense. This isn't about me, this is to help other people, but if I can input on things that I've not been through but things that I've like kind of overcome, it's a lot easier than me just saying do this, do this, do that, when if I've not actually been through it myself. Do you know what I mean? So I just want to put that trigger warning out there for anybody that might be sensitive to the topics of anything that I'm going to be speaking about today. But yes, we're just going to get on. I'm just going to do my makeup like I normally would. I'm not going to tell you what I'm using or anything. It's just, if you want to sit and do your makeup with me as well, feel free to, or if you're just tidying your room, you just want this on the background, whatever it may be, I'm here to just chat. I have things written down as well in my notes, which I'm just going to talk about, because I was like, I don't really want to do like just free for all, because I will just waffle for days and days and days and talk about the same thing for 20 minutes. So I have got a couple of bits written down that I just kind of want to touch base on, whatever it may be. So I'm going to do my makeup and we'll get started. So the first thing I want to touch base on is overall happiness. I feel like this is such a taboo subject, maybe, is that what you call it? In happiness, people think like that you've got to constantly be happy. People think that people with money are constantly happy and things like that. Totally not the case. There's a lot behind happiness. You can be happy in yourself, you can be happy in, you know, life, happy with money, things like that. But I feel like happiness is one of them things that once you are genuinely happy, you just know it. Everything else becomes better, everything else becomes easier. You do still have bad days, I just want to add though. Being happy does not mean that you are 100% content in yourself, doesn't mean you love yourself 100%, doesn't mean that you are overall happy 100%. Totally not the case at all. There are people that can be happy and then, you know, it comes to a weekend, they're off work, whatever it may be, they sit and cry all day. Like it's such one of these things where like it's balance at the end of the day. You can't be 100% happy. I reckon people that are claim that they're very happy are probably only like 60-70% happy, and the rest of it is still down days. Don't try and convince yourself that you're happy. One of my biggest things is getting rid of any negativity that you can, which can also be the reason why a lot of people aren't happy. It's because they've got negative things going on in their life, or they're in a job that they don't enjoy, or just something's going on in their life that is just not fueling their fire, and they're just overall quite not the happiest with life, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being unhappy. So me personally, I never used to be a very happy chap. I used to be quite unhappy, and I mean like to a point where I would make everything a negative situation. Like I would make everything negative in any way I possibly could. And it sounds really weird because you think like why would you make something negative when it doesn't need to be negative? But when you're in a frame of mind where you don't want to be happy, you truly don't want to be happy, it's just a case of right, you will just make anything negative because you don't want to be happy. You don't really want to feel anything good. Like I say, you've got to want to be happy, and if you're not ready for that yet, that is fine. Take time. Do want to say though, if anybody is feeling really under the weather and this is not helping them at all, please contact a doctor. I will leave some helpline services down below of anything that I can find that could potentially help. Obviously, like I say, I am not a therapist, but I'm just putting tips and things like that out there that I find useful and things that made me happy. I was really underweight, and I was really unhappy because I would look at myself and think like, why do I look like this? Like, why does my body look like that? And there was absolutely nothing wrong with my body. When I look at my body now compared to then, like, I was so skinny. Not that that's a bad thing or it's a good thing or whatever, but I was just really underweight for what I should have been. I was really ill quite a lot. My immune system was absolutely rubbish. It genuinely was just a horrible thing. And I know there's a lot of other girls that go through stuff like that as well, where they end up getting really ill all the time and they don't really know why. Like, it's because of, and if you're not eating correctly, which I'm going to move on to, it can have such a big backlash on so many different things. I know during lockdown I put loads of weight on, and I just want to put this out there as well. There's one of my friends and we used to have this discussion, and it's not until you see how like underweight you were that you don't realise, wow, like it really is healthy weight. And it's not until people are telling you in the moment, like, change your eating habits and things like that. When I was going through weight problems, lockdown was a blessing for me in disguise. In the first lockdown, I think it was a lot worse, and I think everybody can probably agree or disagree. Either people found the first lockdown hard as well, or it was maybe any of the others. But I found it quite hard because I wasn't happy in myself. So because I was stuck at home all the time, I am a high risk due to heart problems and things like that. I did have to stay home quite a lot. I would go to like the shop with my mum maybe, but it was just so like not being able to see your friends, not being able to see like my boyfriend, not being able to see my family. It really was a tough thing, and everybody will be able to relate with that. Some people need to be able to put weight on to genuinely reach the part where they need to be. I was really underweight, but I thought I was like huge, which is such a, it's so like weird to think of now. It's all psychological. It's crazy how much of a toxic place your brain can be in so many different ways. Bad days and good days will come and go. I'm such a firm believer that everybody's plan is set for a reason, and there's going to be people that'll agree, there's going to be people that'll disagree. I'm very big on manifestation. I've started manifesting. I love it. I think it's such a great thing that the universe can help you. And before people start throwing a fit at us, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, not everybody believes it, not everybody wants to believe it as well, which is another thing. But if people like it, if people like to use it, if it works for people, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because all that matters is that people are happy. But yeah, so I bought myself a journal last week. There's a book that I'm currently reading, which I will insert here, a picture of the book, and it's fab. Honestly, if anybody is looking for a bit of a pick-me-up, if you're looking to start manifesting yourself, honestly, buy this book and read it. I'm not a big reader at all. I used to be when I was in like primary school and stuff like that, but you know, when you're just like I don't have time for it anymore because I have work. And I bought this book thinking kind of like nothing of it. I was like, it's probably just going to be like a regular book, it might not even really do too much. I might not even read the whole thing. I haven't read the whole thing yet, obviously, just literally down to work, but it's a fab book. Basically it's about the author kind of talks about our own experiences. She talks about manifestation and love, manifestation and money, and it's really weird because once you get into it you actually start learning new things. But I feel like manifestation has personally really helped me, and some people won't believe that. Some people will just be like, yeah, like of course you can manifest a car, of course you can manifest a house, like of course you can manifest a career. Honestly, if you truly believe in manifesting, you will get what you want in life. I just want to add as well, it's okay to not be okay. Like, there is nothing wrong with, I feel like it really is such a taboo thing sometimes that people feel like when they're not feeling okay, it's like wrong, like they should feel okay. Like, why don't I feel okay? I don't know how many times I've had friends say to me like, I don't know why I don't feel okay, like I've got nothing to be worrying about, like I've got nothing to really be like stressed about, but I just don't feel okay. It is literally more than normal to feel sad or angry or a bit lost sometimes, a bit numb, a bit like, well, I don't really know how I feel, I don't know why I'm feeling this way, sort of thing. There was a quote that I'd seen a couple of years ago that was like, what was it? It was like, live for the present moment, don't think about the future because you end up stressing yourself out, and don't think about the past because it just makes you depressed. And it's such a true thing, because if you do think about the past, you're thinking about things that had happened. Oh, I wish I could have changed this. Oh, I wish I could have done this differently. Oh, I wish I never met such and such. but all these things happen in your life to like lead you on your path wherever you're going, and that's kind of like linked with the universe. But I literally promise you, you're constantly manifesting. You think, oh, you're at work, you're like, right, I'm gonna go to the shop after work, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna have lasagna for me tea. Right, you go to the shop, you buy lasagna for your tea. That is you manifesting. Believe it or not, manifesting is not just about, oh, I want a car, I'm gonna manifest a car and I'll have a car. It's, you're constantly manifesting, you're constantly doing things in your day-to-day life that you don't even realise that you are manifesting. What I want people to take away from this video is that there are so many things in life that can make people happy. I mean, there's people out there that have millions and millions of pounds just sat in their bank and they're miserable. There's people that are homeless on the streets and have 30 pence in their pocket, and that's to buy their meal for the day. Happiness is not defined by how much money's in your bank, it's not defined by what you look like, it's not defined by where you come from. Happiness all starts with you. If you want to be happy, you have to go out there and make yourself happy. You have to do things, change things in your life, get rid of negative people that don't add to your life, and I feel like that's very important as well. You can have really toxic people around you that don't want the best for you and don't want you to be happy and make you feel miserable, and if you keep them in your life, you're going to find that it's going to stick around. That unhappiness around that certain subject is going to stay there. To help yourself, you've got to do things in order to be happy. Step out your comfort zone. I feel like this is something, especially if you suffer with anxiety, you'll know exactly what I mean. If you've ever had therapy before, people always say, don't run away from things, don't avoid things, because when you avoid things, you build up this comfort blanket. I feel like after this year, I feel like everyone just needs to go out, do something, whatever it may be, whether it's going out with your friends for a drink, going out for a meal, whether it's going to get a new piercing, whether it's going shopping, whether it's whatever, literally whatever it may be. I just feel like as of this year, everyone just needs to go out, get out the house, do something that when you then look back, you think, I'm glad I did that. If it wasn't for COVID, I feel like everybody would be a lot more happier. I feel like a lot of people's mental health would not be affected as much, and I feel like everybody would just genuinely be happier in themselves. But because of lockdown and stuff like that, it's just made everybody's lives 10 times harder. There's people that have lost family members during this time, which is absolutely horrible, and I really do feel for them, because I couldn't imagine losing family full stop. Like, I've obviously lost family members before, but mainly when I was quite young. Not that they're unimportant or anything, but I couldn't imagine losing anybody now, especially to something like COVID. I always like to be that positive friend. I always like to be that person that when somebody's having a bad day, I can cheer them up, whether it's just letting them know that today's a bad day, tomorrow's a bad day. Sometimes you truly can't be helped, and you do need to seek medical advice, which I know is the worst thing that you ever want to hear. You kind of just want to get over things yourself. You don't want to have to feel like you're bothering anybody. I know that's how I felt when I first had to seek some kind of like medical help. When I had therapy and things like that, I had to talk about my feelings, I had to talk about how I felt, and I always encourage my friends to talk, no matter what it is, big or small. It's one of these things that depression and anxiety is such an internal thing, such a mental thing, that you can look at somebody and not even know that there's anything going on there, which is the worst part, because there's so many more people that could be saved if they would talk, or if you could like pick up on signs and things like that, to know that people aren't happy, people are struggling, people need a hand, people need a helping hand. Sometimes that can be all it is, giving somebody a message and just saying like, look, if you ever need to talk, just know that I'm here, can literally like brighten somebody's day. Doesn't mean you have to talk to people every second of every day, but just checking up on people that you know struggle, or checking up on people that you know have spoke to you before in the past about things that have happened in their lives, or whatever, literally whatever it may be. Like I say, some of the happiest people can be the most depressed people, and nobody knows it, and that is the scariest part about everything. I want to end this video on a positive note though. I've sat and spoke about a load of different things, I have waffled on quite a bit, but hopefully you have enjoyed this and really thoroughly liked to listen. Once again, just want to say, every day is a new day. If you're on a bad day today, just look forward to tomorrow. Remember that it's okay to cry, it's okay to be sad, it's okay to let emotions out. It's the best thing that you can possibly do, because if you bottle things up and bottle things up, it's going to overflow eventually. Think of a bin, right? You put rubbish in it every single day and you're like, I really need to change that bin bag, but I'm not going to because I can't be bothered. You keep putting rubbish in that and it's going to start overflowing and you're going to have to change it. It's better to... That was such a bad excuse, like that was such a bad like example, but the more you bottle things up, the worse things become. And like I say, if people are needing to seek any medical advice, talk to a parent or guardian, a brother or sister, a teacher, if there's a teacher that you trust enough and you're in school, maybe a work boss, somebody that you trust to tell this and give you appropriate advice. I mean, there's not really anybody that can like give appropriate advice, because not everybody's obviously like knowledgeable necessarily on, you know, like what to do if somebody really does need to seek medical attention. Obviously not everybody knows necessarily what to do, but it's not in people's natural instinct to necessarily know. As much as I would love to help every single person, some people obviously don't necessarily want to talk. My messages are always open, my DMs are always open, my Facebook messages are always open. Literally anything is always open if people want to have a chat. And I know you don't really want to just like message some random person and be like, I'm feeling this sort of way, but I'm here if people need it. Not to say that anybody necessarily does, but I'm here if people need to chat. I'm more than happy to chat to anybody who really does need some tips or tricks or advice. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and like I say, messages are always open, no matter what you need. Even if you're just like, how do I start doing this, how do I do this, how do I, whatever it may be. I'm gonna leave that there because I've literally sat and talked for 40 minutes. 41 minutes now actually. But yes, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again next time with another video.